Hey guys, thank you so much for your patience. So we are going to talk about adding and subtracting rational numbers right now. So rational numbers means they can be written as a fraction, right? So think about how you add and subtract just regular fractions that don't have any kind of variables in them. When our denominators are the same, like in this case right here, all we worry about is adding or subtracting our numerators. All right, so the big thing we have to notice with subtraction, think about when we were subtracting expressions, okay? So if you want to rewrite it this way with parentheses, okay, remember when we have a minus right here, we have to change the sign of everything in the second parentheses. So it's going to become x plus 6y minus 6x plus 6y. Then from there, we combine our like terms. So x minus 6x is negative 5x, and then that's gone. So then 6y plus 6y is plus 12y. Then we just bring our common denominator over, which was 8x. And that would be your answer because your 5 and your 8 cannot simplify. So that is your final answer. Okay, so number 3 is just like number 1 because we have common denominators. Okay, so we just have to worry about the numerator. So it's plus, and that makes it even easier. So x plus x is just 2x. And then 6y plus 3y plus 9y. And then we're going to bring our common denominator over. And it's 9x to the third y. And so that is our final answer. Okay, so whenever our expressions have common denominators, it's pretty simple. We just combine the numerator, bring over your common denominator. So now it's a little different when we have unlike denominators, okay? Because we have to find a common denominator. So the first thing you're going to do is factor out any denominators that can factor. So if you look at it, 2x obviously can't, but 3x squared plus 12x can. Okay, so when we factor that out, we look at it, 3x squared plus 12x. 3x can go into both, right? So we're going to rewrite it, 2 over 3x times x plus 4. And then plus 3 over 2x. Okay, so now I want you to think back to how we've always solved fractions, even going back to when you first learned them in like 5th or 6th grade, okay? So since we're adding, I want us to write it on top of each other. So we're going to say 2 over 3x times x plus 4, and then plus 3 over 2x. And we have got to find a common denominator, okay, because we're adding it together. And remember, if you're adding or subtracting fractions, you have to have that common denominator. So our common denominator is going to be 6x times x plus 4. Okay, so now think back, like we were talking about, to when you have done fractions before, okay? So now we have to say, what do you have to multiply 2x by to get 6x times x plus 4? Well, you have to multiply it by 3 times x plus 4, right? So that's what we're going to multiply your numerator by. So then that gives us 9 times x plus 4 in our new numerator for our fractions with the common denominator. So here, what do we have to multiply 3x times x plus 4 by to get 2x times x plus 4? 2, right? Because 3 times 2 is 6x, and we already have the x plus 4. So we're going to multiply by 2 up here, and that gives us 4. So then we're going to come over here, and we're going to rewrite everything as one fraction since we have common denominators now. So 4 plus 9 times x plus 4 over 6x times x plus 4. So as far as our denominators go, we're not going to do distributive property back out for those again, okay? So keep your denominators factored, but go ahead and simplify the top. So we have 4 plus 9x plus 36 over 6x, times x plus 4. Then from there, can we do anything else at the top? Yeah, we can combine these like terms, right? So we have 9x plus 40 over 6x times x plus 4 for our final answer. All right, so now let's look at 7, okay? We have uncommon denominators again, so the first thing we need to think about is our common denominators. Our common denominators are going to be a plus 6 times a minus 6. And remember, we want to keep it factored. So now we are going to come back out here and rewrite our problem vertically. So 4 over a plus 6 plus 6 over a minus 6. We're adding them together. So now let's write our new ones. A plus 6, a minus 6, a plus 6, a minus 6 again, because we're just multiplying both of those denominators together to get our common denominator. But we do everything the exact same way, okay? So you're going to say, all right, what do I have to multiply a minus 6 by to get a plus 6, a minus 6? Well, obviously you need to multiply by a plus 6, right, to get both of those. That's what you're missing. So we're going to go up here, and this is what we'll get for your new numerator for the bottom fraction. Same thing up here. What do we need to multiply by to get a plus 6, a minus 6? Well, you're missing a minus 6, so that's what we're going to multiply up here. So we have 4 times a minus 6 for our new numerator at the top. So now we're going to go through and write everything as one fraction again. So 4 times a minus 6 plus 6 times a plus 6 over a plus 6, a minus 6. Okay, and so now we are going to do distributive property on our numerator. Okay, so when we do that, we're going to get 4a minus 24 plus 6a plus 36 over a plus 6, a minus 6. Again, keep your denominator factored. So from there, we can just combine like terms at the top, and then 4a plus 6a is 10a. Negative 24 plus 36 is positive 12. Okay, and then that will be over a plus 6, a minus 6. Okay, and that is your final answer. All right, guys, the last one on this video, I'm going to let you try all the odds yourself. And, I'm sorry, these are the odds. I'm going to let you do the evens, and I will post the answers on the assignment as well on the notes page. So when we look at this again, remember, we need to start by looking at our common denominator. Remember, your first step was to factor anything that could be factored. So that's what we're doing now. We can change this to 3 times 3x plus 2. Okay, so, and then you should notice that 3 times 3x plus 2 can be our common denominator because 3 will divide into that, okay? So we're going to come over here and write everything vertically again. Oops, my bad, y'all. There we go. I should have written the factored form. 3 times 3x plus 2. and then 5x over 3. And remember, this is our common denominator. So we're just going to write it over here. 3 times 3x plus 2. I'm getting a little delirious myself. We have one more week, y'all. We can do this. Okay, so 3. What do we have to multiply it by to get 3 times 3x plus 2? 3x plus 2, right? So we're going to multiply by 3x plus 2, what is in parentheses. So 5x times 3x plus 2 will be your new numerator here. Over here, what do we have to multiply by to get 3 times 3x plus 2 on the top? I'm looking at this line right here. We don't, just 1, because we already have it, right? So your numerator here is just going to be 2x. So then we're going to come over and write it as one fraction. So 2x plus 5x times 3x plus 2 over 3 times 3x plus 2. So remember, our bottom stays factored, but we're going to continue to distribute on the top. So we want to go ahead and distribute out that 5x on the numerator. So we're going to just come down and do 2x plus 15x squared plus 10x. Everybody see what we did there? We just distributed over 3 times 3x plus 2. From there, we keep going, and we're going to combine like terms, okay? So we have 2x. Let me change colors so you can see 2x and 10x. So 15x squared plus 10x over, plus 12x. Sorry, I literally just told y'all that and still wrote 10. So plus 12x over 3 times 3x plus 2. Okay, this can actually be simplified one more step, because if you notice, the 15 and the 12 are both divisible by 3 here. So we're going to factor out that 3. Okay, everybody see what we did? We just factored out the 3 in the 15x squared plus 12x. And now these two 3's can actually cancel out. So your final answer, and I'm sorry, I know this is super tiny in the bottom. This was a long problem. Is going to be 5x squared plus 4x over 3x plus 2. Not squared, sorry. Okay, so 5x squared plus 4x over 3x plus 2. So if you got to this point right here, like hypothetically, and you didn't factor out the 3, it would be like -1. Okay, so don't stress out. But be able to recognize and that you can factor out the 3 and cancel it out. Or you can look at it and factor it out kind of this way. 3 goes into 15 5 times, so that's 5x squared. 3 goes into 12 4 times, so that's 4x. If you saw that and canceled everything out that way, that's fine as well. So go ahead, look at your even numbers. After you're finished with those, go through and check your answers and then do your assignment.